Good afternoon, my friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to My Mess Became My Message with our host, Dr. Michiel. Hello, Doc.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I'm excited today. You're having one of my favorite people.
Oh, that's so special.
Yeah.
At least I'm
Get her
someone's
to,
favorite.
get her to tell you about my encouraging her to be a star.
Oh boy.
All
I guess
right.
we are rising stars, but hopefully
Uh,
we're rising to please God, pretty much.
uh,
We need to be a
all right.
star in his kingdom.
All right. Take it away.
Okay. Welcome everyone to my mess became my message. I am your host, Dr. Mikel, and my co-host is Queenie.
Hi,
And
everyone.
this is Hey Queenie, how are you?
I'm good.
How's it going there in the Philippines? Any storms? We getting a lot of storms here.
Just a bit of rain, but nothing too big.
Okay, so we need it, right? God gives us what we need. So we
Yeah.
have to, at least I have not watered grass the whole time. So it's a blessing. So this is our platform, right? Where we're turning life challenges into powerful testimonies. And today we're diving into one of the most important yet overlooked topic, and that's relationships, the one we build with ourselves. But before I go into that, I just want to take a moment to say happy Juneteenth. And Juneteenth is very, very special, especially for minorities. And it matters because Juneteenth represents the enforcement of emancipation, not just signing of a document. The document was signed by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1st, 1863, but that was more than 2 years that it was recognized after he signed it in 1865. So he signed it in 1863, and in 1865 it was recognized. And it's a big deal for us. Now it's a public holiday, so many individuals did not have to work today and still get paid. It highlights the delayed justice and freedom many enslaved people experienced. And it has grown to become a celebration of African American history, cultural achievement, and ongoing pursuit of equality. So I know that we may not be equal here on earth, but I know when Christ comes, we'll all be equal. Ain't that right?
Amen. That
Yeah,
is
so
all right.
that's the day I'm looking forward to. So we can fight here, but just know that true emancipation will not occur until Christ comes and claim the world. So back to our topic. Relationship, the one we build with ourselves. So in a world that constantly pulls our attention outward to work, family, relationships, and responsibilities, we often neglect the care, compassion, and understanding we need to give ourselves. Isn't that right? We tend to
Yeah.
want to care for everyone else but ourselves. But the truth is, when we cultivate a healthy relationship with ourselves, every other area of our lives begin to flourish. So today, our guest is Miss Angela Habez Anderson. Hope that I didn't butcher her name. Will help us explore what it truly means to become our own best friend, how to heal from self-neglect, and the daily practices that strengthen your inner connection. Hello, Miss Angela.
Hello, how are you? So nice
Um,
to meet you both.
oh, same here. We've spoken on the phone, we've texted, and now I'm putting the name, a face with the name. So welcome.
Thank you. And I appreciate this opportunity. It's nice to see you and also to meet you, Queenie.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
absolutely. Yes. Pastor Hobson has a lot to say about you. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this topic, um, becoming our best friends, because sometimes we tend to neglect us and try to give, but even the Bible says that we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. So pretty much ourselves, we come first. So if we don't know how to love ourselves well, how can we love someone else?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? That would be
Exactly.
very hard. Yes. So now I am ready for you to share your story, your journey. So actually tell us a little bit about yourself first. And then in your own words, what does it mean to build a relationship with yourself? But tell us something
Okay.
about you. Let our audience know who you are and what brought you to this topic.
Well, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I relocated to New Jersey because I was a broadcast journalist in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came to New Jersey, New York area to pursue other broadcast opportunities. My father was living here in New Jersey and was attending Mount Olivet Seventh-day Adventist Church. Pastor Hobson became the pastor there, and I met him. And he was very active in the community, and he saw something in me that I didn't recognize in myself. And he suggested that I would be the women's ministry leader and health and temperance. And at first I said, no, I don't think so, because I really didn't know what to do. But through his guidance and his encouragement, I took on both positions and enjoyed them. And I remember the tent meetings that we would have and working in the community. And it was the encouragement from Pastor Hobson that, said, hey, you can do this. And it helped me to believe in myself. And I have not stopped since then.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, because he's the reason why I'm here today.
Mm-hmm.
He's been at me for over a year that I want you to do this program. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. I won't have content. I don't know if I can even speak for an hour. And we started back in January, and we're halfway through the year and have not missed. Well, we've missed one day, and that's because I was sick. But he saw the gift. And he, like you said, he pulls it out, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to serve other women.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So in your words, what does it mean to build a relationship with yourself?
What it means to me is taking that time to give myself time out and to sit down and go on a self-discovery journey. It's like a self-exploration, finding all those treasures and nuggets within myself, and then reflecting back on some of my experiences and then say, wow, I went through a lot, but I got through it. And discovering that I'm stronger than what I thought I was. I'm smarter than what I was. I'm powerful. And realizing that I have a why, that there's a reason why I exist. And it's just it's like, when you start dating someone and you bond with that person and you want to know everything there is about them. That's what it's like when you are discovering you, finding those little golden nuggets about you.
Oh, wow. You said some words that I was jotting down. You said self-exploration. So you have to take the time out to get to know you. The good, the bad, and the ugly, pretty much.
Absolutely.
And then you self-reflection. So after you discover who you are, then you reflect on what are the things that led me here. What are the good things, the bad things, and those are the things that actually make who you are. And once you reflect on those things, then you're able to discover who you truly is. And that's when you start falling in love with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So self-exploration, reflection, and discovery. Very important. So what led you to this topic?
I have to go back to when I was a teenager. I was about 16, and I had a boyfriend, my first real boyfriend. And we had made plans the night before that he was going to go play basketball, and then we were going to go to the movies. As time moved on throughout the day, I hadn't heard from him. And so I was moping around and called his mother's house like 10,000 times. She said he's not home. So I was feeling some, down in the dumps. And my mother said, hey, what's going on with you? And I said, oh, I haven't heard from what's his lips. And she said, listen, she said, you can't sit around wasting your time thinking about somebody. She said, you need to do something for you. So she's made a few suggestions And I said, nah, I'm not really interested in doing that. And she says, well, you have that material, the fabric downstairs. You were going to make the dress. Would you like me to help you? And I said, yes. So my mom and I spent time, designing this dress. We bonded. And then when she saw that I knew what I was doing, she left me alone. And hours had passed. The dress was completed. And I had basically forgotten about him. And I learned then that I have to take time out for me, and not always practice that, but even as a mom, and my husband and I, we had 5 kids, 2 biological and then 3 that we had adopted. And after I had taken them to all of their activities, did the homework and put them to bed, it was my time for me to sit down. It was quitting time, actually, whether I wanted to watch a movie or whatever. So those are some of the things that I do and try to remember to do, because you can burn out if you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I can relate with you, because it's so easy to give yourself to someone else, especially when you have children. It's
Yes.
they're first and then you're second. But like you, one way of pouring into myself is working out.
Mhm.
So when everyone goes to bed, that's when I said, okay, now it's time for me to pour into myself. I'll even tell my husband, because let's watch a movie. No, I have to pour into myself first, and then I can give myself again. So that's very important. You have to find things that you love, things that you like to do, and then do them. Don't neglect
Exactly.
yourself at all.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I like the fact that, your mom, she was so encouraging, and she redirected.
Yes.
That dejection, she redirected it. And because of that, in that moment, you was taught a life lesson.
Yes, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
never forgot that, never. And even today, I'm stronger now. There has been times that I have slipped and forgot about me and allowed myself to gain weight where I had it ballooned to 300 and plus pounds.
Oh,
And
wow.
and it took a toll on me because I was giving all that I had to other people.
Mhm.
And then I recognized what was happening to me, and I had to focus on me and ground myself. So
Yeah. But at least you had that to pull from. That
yes,
experience with your mom, it was always there. So even when you become overwhelmed, you're still able to look back and say, wait a second, I'm giving to everyone, and I need to do something that I really love and I really enjoy, that's going to pour back into me and put life into me.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's very important.
Yeah, to have a mom like that, not everyone will be able to get, that kind of guidance as well. And it's a struggle for a lot of people to be able to take time for themselves. Especially
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
it's always like, oh, I have to, like my boyfriend's doing this. I don't understand why he's doing this. It's all about what, like you lose focus in yourself. That's why in the hospital we have a lot of teenagers who try who try to commit suicide or attempts of it to get their attention of their boyfriends, because they lack that um self actualization, like what they call that, what was the term for that, like sense of self, to the
Yes,
that prioritize themselves first rather than like what their boyfriend would think, or to get the attention of others.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah.
yes.
difficult. It's a
Yeah.
struggle.
It's difficult. It's a struggle, and it's because we're always looking to be accepted,
Hmm.
and that sense of belonging. People would rather die than not to belong. I want to be a
Mhm.
part of this clique. I want to be a part of that. And I need to be accepted. And so we will morph into what they think we should be instead of
Mhm.
taking that time to discover who we are. And then if you take the time to discover yourself, then there's a label that says, oh, you're being selfish,
Hmm.
and nobody wants to be called selfish. But I liken that to when you get on an airplane, the stewardess will tell you that If there's an emergency, you're going to get your oxygen mask. They're going to drop. And while you're suffocating, you're busy trying to help someone else. You're going to be ineffective. But you have to save yourself first, and then you can be effective in helping someone else.
Exactly. And that is not being selfish.
Not at all.
Self-love is not selfish. It is absolutely necessary. It's necessary.
It's necessary. Yes.
Yeah. And while you were talking about, the teenagers that's trying to, kill themselves, Romans 12:2 came to mind, and it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So renewing your mind helps you to see yourself the way God sees you. And I think that's the problem. It's like everyone is looking at someone else and trying to be like someone else instead of trying to be who God created them to be.
Right.
And the problem also is that, when we're born, we do not get an owner's manual. So you think about when you buy a whatever product, a television, for an example, you can either download the owner's manual, or it comes inside the box, and it tells you all the parts that you have or you should, receive. And then there's the troubleshooting pages. And for us, we create our own owner's manual, and it's usually based on other people's opinions and thoughts of us. But we do have an owner's manual, and it's the Bible. And
That's
if
right.
you were to turn to, let's see, I have one here, always loved, which is Romans 8:38, that you're capable, Mark 10:27, and that Ecclesiastes 3:11, you're beautiful. If you begin looking through the Bible, you will see that you were created for a purpose. And when God looked at everything that he had created, he looked and he said, it's not good for man to be alone in Genesis. And then he made woman. And woman is an answer to man's problem.
Yeah.
And it's not just for us to be mothers and to birth. He created us in his likeness and has given us power and the authority to use that power, to use our imagination to birth a dream and turn that into, because there's a problem out here. We're fully equipped, fearlessly and wonderfully made. So if we can perceive it, there's nothing that we can't do. We can achieve it.
That's right. That's right. And I was going to add that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're complex human beings, and we're all different. And God, I laugh at him because I said, he just loved variety. He could have made us all the same. He could have made us think the same, act the same, but he didn't. Even the flowers, you look at the flowers, the variety, everything in nature speaks volume. It speaks about God. He loves variety. So don't try to be like anyone else. Be yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
In the same species, they don't look all the same. There's like different patterns for each one of them.
Exactly.
That's right.
And that's something that go ahead.
If you look at grass, before you cut it, it's a different shade. Yeah. That's what makes it look so beautiful. It's a different shade of green, a slight shade, different than the next blade, but it's different. And so you're absolutely right.
Yes.
God, he loves variety.
He does. And that's something that I had to instill in my kids very, very early. Because growing up, my mom era, it's like you please others. It's like you live your life for others. You think about, you care about what people think, so everything you do is to please someone else. And in the end, you're unhappy. So I grew up like that, was always trying to please and please and please. But when I hit 40, I think that's when self-actualization happened. And that's when I did not care. And I remember I told my mom, and she said, "Oh, no, you have to care what others think." I don't care. As long as the man up above, I'm pleasing him, no one else matters to me. And I've taught my kids that.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
That's right. Okay. I like if you remember, I don't know if you had seen the original Roots, that miniseries. And when Kunta Kinte was born in Africa, his father raised him up at night and said, "Behold, the only thing greater than you," you
Yes.
know. And
Yes.
we have to instill that into our children. And
Absolutely.
my son, he's 30 years old now, but he walks around as though he has these huge antlers on his head. His head is always up because I told him that when he was, from the time he was a baby, that he was a prince, soon to be a king. And my daughter, she is a princess, and trust and believe me, she acts like a princess. And one day you will be a queen. And I instilled that in all of my children
Oh,
because I
yes.
want to know no one was greater than them but God.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I always, no one knew my son's name until he was probably about 10.
Mm,
Everyone called him Prince.
that's right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
My
Mhm.
daughter, Princess. And up to this
Yes.
day, they're my prince and they're my princess.
Hmm.
And like you said,
Absolutely.
they live up to their names.
Uh-huh.
Names are
Yes.
powerful. So it's
Hmm.
important to instill those things in your kids when they're young. Very powerful.
Absolutely.
Yes. So now, why do you think so many people struggle with this, especially in today's culture?
Because they're trying to fit in. They're looking for acceptance. And so they will do anything. People pleasers, lack self-esteem, needing to belong, loneliness, the fear of rejection and abandonment, depending on things that happen in their childhood.
Mm.
So, and again, that word selfish, and as women, we have been taught to be caretakers, you know,
Mhm.
and be nice and nurturing and take care of everyone else. And
Yes.
by the time we get finished with church, work, home, children, husband, parents, there isn't enough time to do anything for us. We may get our hair done, get our nails, get our
Mhm.
manis and our petties. But that's all cosmetic. That's
Yes.
like curb appeal. When you have a house and you fix your house up, you have the curb appeal,
Uh-huh.
but you're not working on the inside. You're not doing the work. And that's why you see a lot of women sitting there angry. And instead of looking at their sister, meaning another woman, and compliment her or just be nice, they can't because they're looking at her and wishing that they were. They're angry about things that happened yesteryear
Yes. That
instead
is
of
so
taking the time to focus on themselves.
that is so true. Because I know I'm good at complimenting. I compliment everyone.
Me too.
And some individual, it's so hard for them to accept a compliment.
Yes.
It is so hard, and that makes sense because they don't see themselves in that way.
That's true.
So if you say, "Oh, you're beautiful," they'll be like, "Oh, what are you seeing? Whatever you saw in the mirror this morning, that's what I'm seeing."
Hmm.
But because they don't see themselves like that, it's hard for them to accept the compliment.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that self-work is very important.
It is true.
Absolutely.
I had a quick encounter. It was my aunt's birthday the other day, and we had a party here, and then some of our family members, relatives came in, and then there's one aunt that just commented on my weight. That's always the topic every time there's a family gathering. But then they were like, "Oh, Queenie, you're gaining so much weight. Why don't let yourself go too easily?" But they didn't know that while I was still working in the hospital, I was barely eating because I was too busy or I was too tired to eat. So I only ate like
Mhm.
once a day and just get through the day with coffee. But now that I'm here back with my family, I'm gaining back the weight because I'm happy, I'm content. And that's why instead of lashing out or feeling bad for myself, I told her that this weight that I'm gaining, it's not even that it's not even like I'm big. I'm just I'm normal. Like I look normal. I don't feel like the weight that I've gained is something negative about myself. I look healthier and I'm eating healthier and I'm happy and content with my family around me. And this is happy weight. This is not a weight that's problematic. So we get a lot of that negative things thrown at us, but then
Mhm.
if depending on how you perceive yourself, that would,
Mhm.
that would definitely affect your day. But if you see that, if you don't see anything negative with it and then try to shut it down immediately at that point, then you're not going to be thinking too much about it, and it's not going to bring down your self-worth as well. If you know that you're worthy, because God loves you. God made you who you are. And they, because back then I was working, I kept on praying, like, Lord, take me out of this place. I feel miserable, I feel burned out. So when he did, he gave me enough time to work on myself and to be happy again, to bring back this weight
Mhm.
that I lost. So yeah, that's what God did for me. Like, whatever your opinions are, I don't know who you are. I haven't known you for long. You might be my relative, but no, I'm not gonna bring myself down because of one opinion that you have of me. So
Yes.
I
Exactly.
everyone else that
Yes.
has that same, self-worth, and that nothing else from what other people would say would affect them that much.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. That's why people should not try to internalize everything someone says, because you don't know. A lot of times people project, so you don't know
Mhm.
what they're dealing with, and they
That's
try
right.
to project to make
Yeah.
you, to pull you down to their level.
Mhm.
But I like that. I like your response to her. Yeah, that was
Yes,
good. That was
absolutely.
good. So now, how does childhood experience or past trauma affect our ability to have a healthy self relationship?
Uh, it can be devastating, and I speak from experience. Um, I remember a time, it's my mom again. I remember a time, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old, and my mother, we were on our way somewhere, and I was skipping, holding her hand. It was a beautiful day. And out of the blue, she said, I just want to share something with you, that when you were a baby, your father and I had separated. And I said, yeah. And she said, and I couldn't afford to take care of you. So I took you to an orphanage and
Oh,
I left you. And I looked at her and I was like, okay. My mind is then thinking, well, where was grandma and great grandma and
mhm.
uncle, and where's family? And she said that the orphanage called her and told her to come back and get me because they knew that she did not really want to leave me. And
Mhm.
I remember hearing those words and packing up those feelings because I that was how I was dealing with things. But the feeling was rejection and abandonment. And so that stayed with me, and I became a people pleaser
Mhm.
because I didn't want people to abandon me. I didn't want to be rejected. And and I remember my uncle used to call me a screaming Mimi because I would scream every time someone would say goodbye. And I didn't relate that to me screaming until I remembered what she had said. She said
Yeah.
goodbye. And I'm like, okay, so nobody wanted me. Mom, dad, grandma, mom, and not even the orphanage.
Mhm.
So that feeling or those feelings impacted me and stayed with me for years. And
Mhm.
I had to work through those things. But when you've been when you've experienced trauma, it can affect your self-esteem and the decisions that you make.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true. And they will even affect up to the partners that you choose.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that's why I love that you keep repeating, you have to do the self work, or you should choose to do the self work.
Hmm.
Yes.
That's the only
You have
way.
to do the
True
work.
healing. Yeah, it's important. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard because a lot of times we do not want to deal with ourselves. Who wanna deal with, like, sometimes we bury stuff so deep. We don't want someone to dig it up, but that's all it is. It's buried. It wasn't dealt
Mhm.
with, so it's gonna keep resurfacing in every single area of your life. And it starts with
Absolutely.
you. So you're not gonna
Yes.
love you. So if
Nope.
you pretend to like someone else, it's not true love and it's not lasting. So
And
that's
I
why
found for myself that I was busy trying to fix everybody else. instead of fixing myself. And that's because I didn't know how to fix myself. There's a psychologist, I believe his name is R.D. Laing, and I don't have it verbatimly, but basically the quote was, the range of what we think until we fail to notice what we don't notice. And until we notice what we are failing to notice, we cannot grow and develop. So we have to notice what is going on within ourselves. And that's why it's important that we take that time, if it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day, to sit down and take yourself out on a date or put yourself in time out and begin journaling. I prefer not journaling because for me, I prefer to sit and go into prayer and speak with God, and then sit still and wait until he answers me. And he always answers me. He shows me the light. He shows me the direction that I need to go in. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's why that happened. You know. So yeah, but I'm sorry, I got ahead of things.
Oh no, that's fine. I like that. It's a relationship. You talk to God and you listen to God. So it's a two-way street, two-way communication. Because a lot of times we talk to him and we ask him things, but we don't sit long enough to even hear what he has to say. And we continue to mess up because we think we're hearing what he's saying. But that's what we want to do to fix whatever we're going through.
Or he has given us an answer and we don't like the answer.
That too.
I'm like, I don't want to do that, you know?
Yep. And I'm gonna go back because actually, can you reiterate what you said, and maybe someone can drop that in the chat? What you said about the author, about choosing.
Oh, R.D. Laing. It's Ronald Douglas Laing, but they go by R.D. Laing, and it's the range of things is what we fail to notice, and until we notice what we fail to notice, we cannot grow and develop. So we have to notice what we're not noticing. Like I didn't know that I was busy trying to fix everyone else, and I remember 3 of my adopted children had mental health issues. And it was one morning that I had taken them to school and dropped, and all 3 of them were in different schools, and had dropped them off. And by 9:30, I was on my way to the gym. By 9:30, I had been to all 3 schools because each one of them had an issue. And so I went into this health food store and I was looking for passion flower, some tincture that would help calm my nerves. And I said to the young lady, I said, I don't know why I adopted those kids. And she said, it was easier to fix them than to fix yourself. And I just stood there and I was like, what did she just say to me? And I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know if I should, give her a piece of my mind or just what. So I didn't say anything, but I never forgot what a Gigi was said to me. And it was true. It was easier to try to fix them than to fix myself. And I didn't know how to. So I didn't notice that there was something wrong with me.
Yeah. He was too busy trying to fix someone else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're preoccupied. Yeah, absolutely. So what role does self-compassion play in healing?
Oh, it's paramount. You think about, you have a friend and your friend comes to you for the 50th time and she's telling you all about her partner who has broken her heart again. Do you curse her out and say, you are so stupid? Why do you keep going to this? Why? I've heard this story. You keep going back. What is wrong with you? You're just dumb, stupid. I can't believe you. Or are you going to be there and say, come here, hold her, comfort her, and listen? That's how we should be with ourselves. But when we make a mistake, we're calling ourselves names. I'm so dumb. That is so stupid of me. We have 70 1,000 thoughts per day. And half of them are negative. Half of them, where we're saying negative things about ourselves. We have to stop the negative self-talk. When you get up in the morning and you put a dress on or a pair of pants, oh, I think they can see my cellulite, or I have thunder thighs, or this isn't going to work, or I need to get a girdle on, or oh, I have a wrinkle, or I have gray hair. We're constantly saying something negative about ourselves instead of getting up and saying, good morning, beautiful. I love you, Angie. I love being alive. Thank you, dear Lord. And looking in the mirror and just saying, thank you, God, and showing gratitude that you're not dead, that you have been given another day to correct what you messed up on yesterday. But we don't do that. So we have to have self-compassion and treat ourselves as though we would treat our best friend or our sister, or, or our child. Because inside of us is a child. That inner child is within us. And sometimes it's calling us and it's crying and we're ignoring it.
Yes. And I like what you said, that we have to treat ourselves, just like the topic, like our best friend. Like what would you say or do to your best friend? You're not going to curse them out. And the individuals that are watching, I want you guys to take note, because the resounding theme from the time we started has been self-love, has been showing gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, I've stressed that time and time again, and absolutely every single person that has came on has said the same exact thing. Give yourself grace, show yourself gratitude, get in that mirror, look at yourself and say something positive, or write down something positive about yourself. Because that is important. The more we do it, the more we'll start believing it. It's like you are retraining the neural pathways in your brain to think differently. And that's very important. I mean, when I learned to do that, it was when I was going through my divorce, because I thought that it was all me. I was at fault. I caused my divorce. And after I went through counseling, and it says, whatever happened, it would have happened even if you laid the red carpet down. If the cheating was going to happen, it was going to happen. Because that's a choice that he made. You never drive anyone to make choices or decisions that's going to impact their lives or impact someone else. You make that choice. And she told me to look in that mirror and start saying positive things about myself. And when I start saying that, I mean, I try not, try to be humble, but sometimes it can, make you feel too proud, because now you're thinking of yourself differently. But it is important. It's important for you to put positivity into your life. Pour it in.
Absolutely. Well, God said that his people are a peculiar people.
Yes.
And so you have to think of yourself differently. And, and when you do, you are more confident in yourself and you become fearless. You're willing to take healthy risk.
Yes.
And it's a rewarding experience. And to be honest with you, there is joy where there used to be sadness. There is joy in discovering who you are and begin believing in yourself.
Yes.
And, and I will say this, because I still wrestle with self-doubt. And I was nervous about this evening being on the show with you two ladies, because I was afraid that I would not know what to say. And so my mind was saying, you know what, maybe they'll cancel, or, why don't you get sick? That's what was in my ear. And I said, you know what, shut your mouth and get away from me. And I began praying. And I always ask the Lord to use me as his instrument.
That's right.
And to guide my tongue and say whatever you need me to say. And So that's why I said, oh, let me hurry up, get my computer ready, get everything set up, get the lights and everything. I was ready. I was getting ready around 5:30
Look at
because
that.
I wanted to make sure that I was here, and God, he carves out a path for us. He lights our steps.
Mhm.
And when we don't follow, those are missed opportunities because those are
Absolutely.
blessings. Those are blessings that he has for us.
Because you needed to be here. We need to hear this. There's so many that need to hear this.
Mhm.
Because we're struggling, especially as women. We are struggling because
Yes.
the world is not nice to us. It's not kind to us.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So we have to know
And
that it's important to take time out for us and to pour
yes.
into ourselves.
And I like what you said about getting a counselor.
Mhm.
Many women, especially in our culture, um, you know, I grew up in the era where what goes on in our home stays in our home, and you don't talk about family secrets. And if
Mhm.
you needed to speak to someone, they would do this here. I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah.
she's crazy, you
Yes.
know. And so speaking to a counselor or a therapist, they would say, oh no, mm-mm. But there is nothing wrong with that. We should reach out and speak because we need help.
Yes.
We need you two ladies, this show that you have. And we have to learn as women that we have to support one another.
Absolutely.
And if my crown is crooked, then I don't have a problem with you telling me you need to fix your crown or just coming over and straighten it out for me.
Mhm.
But we have to learn to support one another because it's definitely necessary. It's needed.
It's needed. Stop being cramps. Stop trying to
Mhm.
pull one another down and try to build. If I don't have something positive to say about someone, I just won't say anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
I won't say
yeah.
anything
hmm
because
Well,
Well, one time, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I'm saying that our job as women is to build one another up, just like you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was a young lady, I'll never forget, beautiful African American girl. She was probably about 18, 19 years old. And she was on the college campus, and her and her boyfriend looked like they had just rolled out of the bed and came in to get, something at McDonald's. He was dressed really nice, with jeans, t-shirt. She came in, hair all over her head, clothes half on, and it looked like she had just got out of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, I said, listen, sweetie, I said, may I speak to you for a minute? And she said, oh, yes, sure. And I told her, I said, do not come out the house like this ever again. And I said, you just got up and got out of bed. And I said, and I'm being a grandma, a auntie, our mom. And I said, so allow me that. And I said, but if you were my daughter, I said, you would have gotten a really good talking to. And she
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and she said, you're right. And my husband was like, she's going to curse you out. I don't care. I needed to say that to her,
Yes. Yes.
because sometimes we have to tell our young ladies how
Mm-hmm.
to conduct themselves because they
Absolutely.
don't know. They don't
Yes.
know. They think it's cool. It's okay. No, it's not. You have to have some self-respect and pride in
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yes.
You know.
And the next time she wakes up and she decides to roll out of bed and go to the store, she's gonna think twice. She
Mm-hmm.
will hear that voice at the back of her head, like, that's not what you
Yes.
do. Yes.
Mhm.
Said what's meant to
Exactly.
be said. That's why you were there at that moment
Mm-hmm.
to say that to her.
Yes,
So,
I
Yeah.
felt so.
And Isaiah 40, I always want to put a scripture somewhere. So Isaiah
Absolutely.
43, verse 4 says, you are precious and honored in my sight, and I love you. That's God saying that.
That's
God
right.
calls you to be valuable, even when you don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you wake up and you feel like a mess. He's saying that you are precious and you're honored.
amen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he loves you.
Amen.
So even if no
Yes.
one else say that they love you, just know that your heavenly Father loves you. And that's more than enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to encourage you guys to drop your chat, any questions, any comments. It's very important. Our lovely Angela is here, and she is open to respond to any questions that you may have.
I
All
also
right.
would like
So what are
so would like to say that, you know, when we talk about self-love, about self-appreciation, it's also stemmed from, you know, having boundaries for yourself, setting those boundaries with your partner, with your family members, that they should know that no, you shouldn't cross this boundary because it's not comfortable for me. And it's, you know, if over time, if we don't set that boundary, then we end up giving way too much of ourselves, and as we said before, we end up burning out. So, you know, any advice on how to build those boundaries, how to make those boundaries for ourselves, Miss Angela?
Yes. First of all, for me, I had to look at what do I value. So if I'm in a relationship with someone, I value loyalty. I value truth. Um, I value reciprocity. So if I'm doing something for you, if my back is scratching, if my back is itching and you scratch my back, then I'm going, when you have an issue, I'm going to do the same for you. Um, but sometimes we can get involved with people based on our past experiences, like referring to rejection and abandonment. If that is something that you're wrestling with, you will do anything and everything to keep that person that you think you're in love with in your life. And they will cross the boundaries. They will lie to you and you'll put up with it. They may place their hands on you and you'll accept that because you're hoping to keep them and you're not valuing yourself. But when you know who you are, when you believe that you are a peculiar person, when you believe that you are one of God's chosen vessels, when you believe that you have purpose and that you have the power in the Most High's authority to use that power, then you're not going to tolerate the nonsense that someone is bringing to you. And if that toxic person is in your life, then it's time to detox and get rid of them because they're not bringing you joy. They're not bringing anything to the table. It's like we're having a barbecue and everybody that's invited is supposed to bring a dish. And this person comes with nothing but a hefty appetite and is eating everything from everyone else and expecting you to say, oh, it's okay. No, you have to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
If I'm uplifting you, uplift me too.
Yeah.
I love that. Detox. Get rid of the toxicity. That's
right.
Detox. Know who you are and
Mhm.
believe. It's just not knowing, but believing. Because a
That's
lot of
right.
times we know who we are. We can quote scriptures. We can say we're fearfully, wonderfully made. I was creating God's image. But do you know who you really are? Do you believe
Mhm.
it?
Mhm.
So it's not just knowing, but believing. And once
Yeah.
you discover, it's time to detox.
Mhm.
I like that. It's time to detox.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with all that said, we need some practicality, right? Because when our viewers leave, how can they apply these things? So what are some daily practices or habits that help nurture your relationship with yourself that you can divulge to our viewers?
One of the things you have to find something that you like. See, when we talk about love, I'll put it this way. When you meet someone, you're not in love with them.
Mhm.
You're attracted to them. You like them. You like their conversation. So find something attractive about you. For an example, my daughter has a head full of beautiful hair. She spends a fortune because that's what she feels is one of her assets.
Mhm.
She likes her hair. She loves her hair. So she spends the money on that. Find something that you like about you and enhance it. And then find something else that you like about you, and bring and nurture that. Start liking yourself. When we have made mistakes, and when you reflect, don't look at the mistakes and say, "Oh, that was so stupid of me." Look at it as a lesson that you should have learned. The problem is when we make mistakes, we don't learn from them.
Yes.
When I was mentoring young girls, I encouraged them to make mistakes because that's how they learn. So for an example, we were making slime, and everybody had directions. Some girls said, "Oh, I already know what to do." And the other ones read the instructions. The ones who didn't read the instructions, they didn't have slime. Those who did knew. So the next time we made slime, they all followed the directions. They learned from their mistakes. So there's a lesson in our mistakes. Learn from them, and spend time sitting down with yourself. Take yourself out to Barnes. I love going to Barnes and Nobles and just spending time reading a book, maybe having a cup of tea, but being your best friend, and writing down, what are your values? What do you like about you? And the more you and look at your successes. Look at the times that you had successes and you said, "Wow, I did that." And pat yourself on the back, give yourself a hug, even kiss yourself all over and say, "Yeah, I did that." That's going to build up your confidence. And the more you do that, the better you're going to feel about yourself. You're going to begin to fall in love with you.
Yes. So it starts with liking yourself, and that's important, because I remember when I was in counseling, the counselor says, "You're not going to love your husband every day, but make sure that you guys like each other."
Yes.
So that's important. You have
Yes.
to find something that you like about you. And just like we said earlier, don't focus on the negative. Focus on the small successes that you've made in your life.
That's right.
And those are important. And spend time with yourself. That one I love to do. I remember one birthday, I was single then, and I took myself out the whole day. I started with a massage. I went to the movie by myself. I went shopping by myself. And then at the end, when my kids got home from school, we went out for dinner. And that was one of my best birthdays ever.
Yes.
Because I was doing things that I like, and it was uninterrupted. This was all the things I like to do, and I was doing it.
And how did you feel?
Oh, I felt good. That was one of my best birthdays.
That's right. That's right. I always encourage women, for Valentine's Day, my mother would always give us a box of candy. And she said, "And this is for the times that you may not get any." But I encourage women, it's Valentine's Day. Oh, I don't have a Valentine's. So what? Buy yourself some flowers. Do something for you. Treat yourself to something. You're working every day. You're paying bills every month. You get a boatload of money and you got to shell it out. You got to make it rain up in these bill collectors. But you have to have something for yourself because you deserve it. And you have to show gratitude, because there are so many women who have gone to their grave with this source of power within them, and they never shared it. They never even knew it. And if I may, I'll tell you a very quick story about the prayer of Jabez, if you're familiar.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So you know that man died, went to heaven, and he saw that this room, and it had tons of not at the prayer of Jabez, but I may have my story mixed up. But anyway, a man died, went to heaven, and he was given a tour of heaven, and he came upon this one room, and there was from the floor all the way up, as far as you could see, boxes with red ribbons on them. And he said, to the angel, "Oh my goodness, those are gifts." And he said, "Yeah, but you really don't want to see what's in there." "Yeah, I do." So they found his name, brought it down, he opened the box, and he screamed because everything that he wanted on earth was there. And these were missed opportunities. These were the blessings that God had for him, and he did not get them. And so I know my grandmother and my great grandma, they died not realizing their dreams. And I promised myself and my mother that I would not allow that to happen. And so that's what we as women, we have dreams and we have to realize them because we're equipped to do so.
Yes. Man, I'll have to bring you. I say that to every single person that came on, that you have to come back to finish this, because now my timekeeper is saying we have only 5 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
So let's go into some words of encouragement. So for someone listening today who feels disconnected from themselves, where can they start?
I would start with scripture and know 2 Corinthians 12:9 that says, enough. You are enough.
Love that.
Philippians 4:13, you are strong.
Yes.
Psalms 139:14, you are amazing.
Yes.
You are capable. It said that in Mark 10:27. And when you're feeling alone and you don't know where to go, Matthew 28:20, you're never alone. God is always with us, always. And he's there right by our side. And all you have to do is just turn to him and he'll be there. You may not want the answer or like the answer, but trust and believe me, it's the best answer for you. Yes. And it does mean that you have to take some time. You have to do the work. Yes. You have to do the work.
Yes. And that's my mom. She said that you're speaking her language. She loves herself, and that's the truth. She loves herself. And I think that's where I got it from.
That's right.
But she never really started loving herself until we were grown. So now she's giving herself everything that she missed out on. So just to watch her now, it's amazing. I don't even envy her. I say, Mom, you do your thing, because that you gave everything for us. So now it's your time. He's doing it without guilt. Okay, so pretty much, I guess you told I was going to ask you some truth and affirmation that every listener can hold on today, but you pretty much did that. You're amazing, you're capable, you're enough, and you're never alone. And that's the truth. That's right. You are never alone because God is omnipresent. That means that he can be everywhere at the same time. So you're never alone. Wow. What a powerful conversation. I just want to say thank you so much for not allowing those negative thoughts to conquer you so that you did not show up today. And I'm glad you did not get sick. Because we needed to hear this. So, building a relationship with yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. It's an act of healing, growth, and honoring the person God created you to be. So as today's guest, Miss Angela, reminded us, the journey begins with grace, continues with intentionality, and is sustained by truth. So it's very important. So if today's episode spoke to you, I encourage you to take one small step today. Whether it's journaling, speaking a kind word over yourself, or spending quiet time with God, remember, you are worthy of love, even from yourself. That's very important. So thank you guys so much for joining. I see so many names flashing across the screen, and I'm glad, my person in the background, Pastor Thompson, was giving you the shout out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on My Mess Became My Message. Please join us next week as we delve into the topic, surviving spiritual warfare. And this is one of my very close friends who have written a book, and this is a personal biography. So please, until next time, take care of your heart, nurture your soul, and keep becoming the masterpiece you are created to be.